What is going on, guys? Panther here, and after a 3-year hiatus, I am back. So, first, lots of things to catch up on. First, but I want to say thank you to all of the subscribers that have remained on the channel over these last few years. I think we were right at 500 when I stopped recording around 3 years ago. We're right around 350 now, so over half of y'all still remain, hopefully watching some old videos from time to time, just bringing back some old memories. But, I really appreciate for those of you that are here. So I'll give a little bit of a life update first, just to kind of explain why I stopped recording, for those of you that weren't in the APA or the Draft League community that knew. So my wife at the time, back 4 years ago, was diagnosed with cancer. She ended up passing away in 2022, so 2 years ago. Obviously, I stopped recording 3 years ago. I stopped playing in draft leagues, really, around then, so she could focus on her treatments. We have 3 children together, so there was just a lot of moving pieces back then. Well, I'm finally to a point in my life where things have kind of resettled back down. And I got an invitation to play in the BBR, which is ran by one of my good friends, Grandmaster D-Ray. He reached out to me asking if I had any interest in playing. I've always kind of had the itch still to play. Wi-Fi was always, home for me. And, he offered to buy me a capture card to actually come back and play. So, how can you turn that down? So, big thanks to D-Ray. I wouldn't be here right now without him playing in the BBR. BBR was created probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago or so by one of my friends, Mid Pokemaster. I think he's actually retired now too. D-Ray runs things. A couple of my friends from the league, back from the APA days are on the staff there as well. John Jr., Owen, Ugubina. So yeah, I think the draft league scene has changed quite a bit since I was playing. I'm not really too sure of all the Wi-Fi leagues that are out there. I really haven't played since Gen 7. It's now Gen 9. I did play in the Wi-Fi season that was last uploaded on my channel, right there at the beginning of Gen 8. I think my last game was against Jamvad, actually. That was back when we were doing Dynamax and Gigantamax. But the timer issues kind of stopped that league. But it looks like that's been fixed now. So I really haven't kept up with things too much over the years. But I'm really excited to be back. I've watched some of my old videos, from time to time. I watched some of the other content creators' old videos as well. I like to go back and rewatch some of their old seasons, like Mega McGuy, my boy Gypsy King. I still like to go and watch his content as well, just that next level thinking. But I'm really excited here. So this is a 16-man Wi-Fi league, and it's an 8-week season. I believe BBR is in season 7 now of Wi-Fi. I think this is the 7th season. So yeah, we ended up having the 13th pick in this draft. There are some Pokemon that are allowed that I think were kind of borderline on if the admin team was going to allow them or not. So going into the draft, I wasn't sure what was going to fall to me at 13. And on top of that, I'm not really even sure what's good or not anymore. I did play Sword and Shield. I think I did beat the end game for that. But for Scarlet and Violet, I've played a few hours with my kids, and that's really it. I've seen some of the new Mons really just because of the Pokemon cards. And so I know their names and things like that. I know typings. But as far as like moves and stats and what their role is within a draft league team, that's something that's I'm going to discover here this season. So, I don't know how this learning curve is going to be, but So, we ended up with the 13th pick, and like I said, I did not know what was going to fall. I knew there were some mons that had my eye that had no way of falling, like Deoxys Speed, Dragapult, Gouging Fire. I know those were all going to go, probably top 5. Looking at some other mons that I thought maybe would drop, mons like Garchomp, which, is a mon that I'm very familiar with. Latios. Those were mons that I thought maybe they'll fall, maybe I'll be able to get them. But a mon that I really had my eye on was Palafin. And in all reality, it's I really like Shiny Palafin from one of the new Pokemon card sets that are coming out. So that tells you how much thought process really went into why that mon interested in me. But picking 13th, there was a mon that was allowed that dropped to me, and I was just like, this is really too good to be true here. So the mon that ended up dropping to me and I ended up taking round 1 was Urshifu Single Strike. Let me rewind just a little bit, though. I currently do not have my draft slides, so I'm using Showdown to do this because I have some free time right now. These draft analyses aren't due for another few days, but I wanted to go ahead and do this. If I have time to edit the draft slides in, I definitely will. But for now, I'm just going to just roll with things right here. Anyways, Urshifu Single Strike made it down to me, and this is a Pokemon that was definitely banned when I was playing, and it just really hits unbelievably hard. Really nice bulk, 100 HP, 100 defense, subpar SPDF stat at 60 SPDF, 97 speed, so kind of a middling speed stat as well. But 130 attack, and what really sets this Pokemon apart is its attack Wicked Blow. So 75 base power, but it always results in a critical hit, and its Unseen Fist ability, a target cannot protect on it. I think a buff that this thing actually got this generation as well is Swords Dance. So SD, Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch, Close Combat just hits unbelievably hard. And I say that one of the typings that you usually bring in on strong fighting types are bulky psychic types. So, naturally with them having dark type stab as well that always crits, that's going to, obviously cause a whole lot of issues. Something else that will come in too is fairy types as well. But the beauty about Urshifu is not only does it have Poison Jab, but it also has Iron Head as well. So it really comes down to, if you do have a bulky fairy, am I going to run a Babiri Berry or am I going to run a Kibia Berry against this Pokemon to try to lure it? It also can pivot with U-turn, so that is great as well. It can now boost speed with Trailblaze, so this thing can do a lot of cool things, and I was really excited that this mon fell to me. Palafin actually fell as well, but when this guy fell, I had to take it. I really didn't see me having an opportunity to draft it again, so I just really had no choice but to take it here on this one. So pick 13, the wheel comes back to me. I'm like, well, what pairs well with this guy? What would I want to U-turn out into and bring in on a bulky fairy type? And there was a Pokemon there that I thought would be really fun. It's obviously one of the new mons, and it's really cool to come in on fairy types, and that is Goldingo. So I have a nice big physical breaker here. I have a nice special breaker here, 133 Spatak. Good as gold ability, that prevents it from being statused or defogged on. It's one of the premier removal blockers in the game because it naturally blocks Rapid Spin with its ghost typing. 84 speed, so that's something else I wanted to kind of keep in mind because right now my team has two middling speed tiered Pokemon. So I wanted to keep that in mind for later in the draft. But yeah, Goldingo really comes in on those fairy types like Clefable or Florges or, this just out of kind of a loss for words right now on the different fairies that are out there, like Galarian Weezing, Comfey. This Pokemon can come in and it can set up with Nasty Plot, or it can just throw off 120 base power, make it rain. So this is one of the new mons I had to really look into before deciding to pick it up, but I decided, it looked really cool. It also, another reason why I decided to go for it can provide Thunder Wave support as well. So nice speed control for Urshifu to just come in and click Wicked Blow over and over. So First two picks, Urshifu, Goldingo. I really thought they went well together. Goldingo, it's a fighting immunity for Urshifu. It's a fairy resist, and it's a flying resist as well. So it covers a whole lot of weaknesses for Urshifu. So I really felt like they complemented each other pretty well. So I had to wait several turns for it to come back to me again. And the next pick, I don't know if I kind of reached for this mon or not. I really don't know anything too much about it. But I really liked its speed tier. It gave me somebody that had over base 100 speed. It hits base 110 speed. It's a brand new mon, so really just know about the typing. Got Ogerpon Cornerstone. So Ogerpon Fire and Ogerpon Water were gone at this point. So I thought this mon would be really cool to try. So 120 base attack, so another good physical breaker. I believe it can also set up. I think it has Swords Dance, but it has really sneaky bulk on it too. 80 HP, 84 defense, 94 SPDEF. So it can really do things. Provides me another pivot with U-turn. And all importantly, it provides me with a hazard setter with spikes as well. So this mon being able to throw up spikes for Urshifu and Goldingo, I really thought was really useful. I thought Taunt was a really good utility on it as well. It gets SD. It can U-turn out. I think this mon's main draw is Ivy Cudgel. And that takes the typing of the Ogerpon. So I believe it would be rock type. And it has a high critical hit ratio as well. So you don't have to run moves like Stone Edge or anything. It's more 100% accuracy. Rock type move. So another thing that really drew me to this too is, wow, what type is really going to come in on a grass and a rock type? Well, grass types, but they're going to take a big U-turn hit, or steel types. And what Pokemon do I have that can break steel types? That would be Urshifu. So I felt like, man, these Pokemon really do pair really well with each other. I could really just form a nice U-turn core already between Ogerpon and Urshifu. And my top three mons I'm really excited about. So looking at my speed tiers again, I'm all clumped together between 110 and 84. So there was a Pokemon left on the board that I've heard some mixed reviews on that I decided to go ahead and pick up as my round 4 pick. But I did it mostly for the speed, and that is Iron Bundle. So 136 speed, 124 special attack. This Pokemon is fast, and its dual typing hits, or its dual stab hits really hard. This Pokemon gets access to Freeze Dry, meaning that water types can't come in on it. And it also, obviously, is an ice type. It has Ice Beam, Blizzard. It also has, or Water Stab, Hydro Pump. So it does not get access to Surf or Scald. It does have Chilling Water. So we're going to be relying on hitting Hydro Pumps, and I think that's one of this mon's main drawbacks, is being forced into Hydro Pump. And yeah, from just looking at it as well, with rocks being up and having ice as one of its typings, taking 25% of the rocks each time, I think it's really going to force it into heavy-duty boots a lot as well. But we'll see. This also gives me another pivot with Flip Turn. So 3 out of my 4 top mons can pivot right now, and I really was interested in doing that, especially with being able to spike and hazard stack. That's something I really wanted to do with this team. And you'll kind of see that with some of my later picks here. But these top 4 picks, very offensive. And that's very different for me. If you are a fan of the channel and have been following for a long time, you know my playstyle is really more balanced and bulky offense than anything else. So with how offensive this team is, going to be really interesting to see how I fare with it this season, especially with not knowing a lot of these new mons and the roles that they take. There's some of the items that I'm still learning, like Covert Cloak and Loaded Dice and things like that. I think I know the learning curve here. I'm interested to see how steep it's going to be. So those were the first 4 picks that I had. That was my wheel. Had to wait a little while for it to come back. And there was a Pokemon that was... I wanted to start thinking about my Terra type next. So Pokemon that were valued 10 or below could Terra. With some exceptions, they did have some mons banned that were 10 points. Like I remember Feraligatr was banned from being able to Terra. Like Ribombee was banned from being able to Terra. And I think the point there is that you couldn't the setup mons are really limited with Terra. I think Terra gives the opportunity for free setup. But there was a mon that I saw that I was really interested in, especially interested in its typing as well, just for some key resistances on my team. But it also could Terra. And I decided with my 5th round pick to pick up Talonflame, who I would also make my Terra captain. So again, really nice speed, 126 speed here on Talonflame. This is a Pokemon that I've used before, back before Gale Wings was nerfed. But I also wanted to pick this guy up because it looks really like that removal was really gimped here this generation. A lot of Pokemon don't have access to Defog anymore that formerly did. And yeah, I actually thought Iron Bundle had Rapid Spin. That's not the case. And so another reason why I wanted to pick this up was because I had access to Defog, and I wanted the option for removal, even with the prevalence of heavy-duty boots now. So this mon does still get access to Defog. It is a ground immunity for me. And it's got 2 really good abilities with Flame Body being able to get burns 30% of the time. And then Gale Wings to provide some priority with Brave Bird. You know, if I'm in a pinch and I need to try to pick something off. So I think this mon probably will end up having to be forced into running boots a lot. I am prepared for that. But like I said, it is my Terra captain. And it is Terra Ground and Terra Grass. So ground to set up on electric types. I think bulky rock types would also come into on Talonflame. Mons like Tyranitar or, gosh, I don't even know rock types that are still allowed. Gigalith popped into my head, but I don't think Gigalith is in existence right now. But, you know, being able to SD Terra Blast with grass or ground, I think is really nice. And just really, really cool dual stab as well with fire and flying. It was really between this or Moltres, but, you know, Moltres is one of those Pokemon that no longer have access to Defog. So ended up going with Talonflame here to provide some hazard removal support. And you have to excuse me because I'm a little sick as well. I'm sure y'all can tell from my voice a little bit here. Alright, so that was the 5th round. Wheel on the way back up. Wanted to go ahead and pick up my Fairy type, and I decided to go with one of the new Fairy types in Screamtail. So this Pokemon is very bulky. 115 HP, 99 defense, 115 SPDF. Really nice speed too at 111. I thought it would be cool to have a Pokemon with the Photosynthesis ability, so if I do play the Sunny Day team or the Torkoal team, I will have an automatic boost on entry with this. But I really liked how this mon got Stealth Rock support as well for my team. I don't have Stealth Rocks on my team yet, and this is obviously one of the Pokemon that do. It has Wish support, Encore, and Thunder Wave. So again, this is just a really good utility Pokemon. I really like the coverage that it has as well. It really just has coverage for days. And it does have some setup options as well with Calm Mind. So Calm Mind and Bulk Up. So I think I can use this Pokemon well. This is a Pokemon that speaks to me here. I'm a big Clefable fan. I like all the different coverage options that Clefable has. This kind of is reminiscent of Clefable with a worse ability. To me, this is like the poor man's Clefable, and I'm thinking I'm about it just by looking at it. Now, the one concern that I have is the dual psychic typing that it has. So it's not a dark resist for me. So that's something I want to be mindful of because Urshifu right now is my dark resist. And I don't exactly want that, taking hits over and over again. So I've got to be cautious of that with Screamtail. So we're getting into the later rounds of my draft here, and there's some roles that I want to fill still. So one of the big roles that I want to fill is a ground type and a grounded poison type. Let me go make a new team real quick because out of 6, I'm at the maximum. So I wanted a ground type to have an electric immunity and a grounded poison type to automatically absorb toxic spikes if somebody tried to set them up on me. And this Pokemon kind of stood out to me for its abilities as well. I like that it had the Unaware ability, and I really like that it had the Water Absorb ability because my Grass type does not resist water. It is part rock. So For my 7th round pick, I ended up picking up Clodsire. Now, I mentioned earlier in this that I wanted the ability to be able to stack teams, and this is a Pokemon that provides me the options to do that. Has access to Stealth Rocks, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. So all 3 entry hazards it can set up. So I thought that was really cool. And then 3 really good abilities in Poison Point, Water Absorb, and Unaware. Not really much to say about this guy. Its defensive stats a little concerning to me, but base 130 HP, base 100 SPDEF. I think this is going to be able just to kind of come in and sit on Mons. It is Unaware. Like I said, it does get access to Haze, so it can't be setup fodder in case I am the Water Absorbability. But yeah, I thought this Mon would be really cool to pick up, and I thought it fit my team really well. So next, I wanted to pick up a Dragon. And out of the dragons left on the board, I thought this Mon was a cheap option that really provided my team a lot of utility, and that's Goodra. So a grass immunity here in Sap Sipper. Again, I like that. My grass type is part rock. It does not resist grass type moves either, so it gives me a nice immunity to that. And then Goodra just really gets a lot of coverage as well. Gets really coverage for everything. It's really specially bulky. Also, so it can take special hits, especially with the Assault Vest set. And then it does get the gooey ability as well, so contact moves lower the speed stage by 1, so that could come in clutch potentially. I have used Goodra before. I did play around with the idea of making this guy my Terra Captain as well, but I thought the setup that Talonflame offered was just too much to overlook. But yeah, Goodra is my 8th round pick, and I have 3 picks left in the draft. Couple more roles I want to fill. I want another ground immunity, and one of the best ones that were left was Rotom Mow. Don't have an electric type yet either, and this is another Mon that I'm pretty familiar with. Kind of another middling speed Mon that I have. I'll say that about Goodra as well. Goodra has 80 base speed, Rotom has 86, but this is a pretty straightforward Mon. I think it got worse this generation by losing Defog. I don't think it was buffed in any other way. Just looking at the moves here, no. But needless to say, it provides my team with another pivot to fit in. But I really like the ground immunity that this guy provides. And obviously it can threaten ground types that want to come in on the electric moves with its Grass Stab Leaf Storm. So, thought that was really cool there as well. Now, I only had 5 points left. I really wanted a Ghost immunity for my last pick, or for one of my picks here. I ended up having a point left over after this guy. I really like the look of the Dunsparce. Sorry, this is one of the new Mons, but it was taken. So I ended up going with the baby one, Dunsparce. So not a lot to say about this guy here. You know, I do like that it can provide glare support for the team, and it does have access to rocks as well, should I choose to do that. But you know, it's weak, it's passive, so we'll see if this guy ends up being used. I actually have considered Porygon 2 was dropped, and I think that would maybe be useful, but we'll have to see how this goes with Dunsparce here. The first couple of weeks, we'll see how viable it is once I start running some calcs on it. Yeah, like I said, I wanted the daddy form of this, but it was taken earlier. So I had 1 point left over. May as well use it since I have it. The best Mon in the tier, in my opinion, was Pikachu. Pikachu with Light Ball actually hits pretty hard. And yeah, that is my draft. So here are the 11 Mons that make up the Carolina Clefables here this season. Urshifu, Single Strike, Golden Go, Ogerpon Cornerstone, Iron Bundle, Talonflame, Screamtail, Clodsire, Goodra, Rotom, Dunsparce, and Pikachu. So really excited to use this team here. Really excited to be in the BBR and be back playing. Hopefully I'm successful here in this 8-week season. And again, thank you to everyone that has stayed tuned over the years. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded. I am excited to be back, though. Excited to be playing again. And for those of you that are new, that are coming from the BBR draft stream, hopefully you enjoyed the looks of the team this season. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyways, guys, we'll see y'all week 1. Week 1 will be uploaded next Saturday, I do believe. I have not played it up at this point. I haven't started prep yet. So we'll see y'all soon. Thanks for tuning in again.